We took the subject of the attempt against the Prime Minister of Slovakia's life. On Wednesday, the Slovakian media confirmed that the Prime Minister, Robert Fico, was wounded in a shooting incident. The Slovak news agency teleSUR confirmed the incident that occurred during a parliamentary session which, according to the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Lubos Blaha, has been postponed until further notice. The shooting took place in front of the local House of Culture where Fico had gone to meet his supporters. Reports have indicated that the Prime Minister is in danger of his life after being shot several times. In this regard, Zuzana Kaputova, President of the Slovak Republic, acknowledged on her social media X to being shocked by the incident and condemned the attack, while also wishing the Prime Minister a prompt recovery and sending strength to his families and loved ones. The Prime Minister Fico is known for attempting to stop the transfer of arms to Ukraine during the special operation that Russia is developing in Ukraine. Fico is also known for proposing new peace negotiations with Russia and for having said that the Ukrainian regime is not democratic. And also the Prime Minister, who is currently in danger of his life, who is hospitalized after being shot several times, has affirmed that the sanction policies against Russia is not beneficial. Instead, it has brought the continent backwards instead of achieving results. So he has proposed to reconstruct this policy and redirect the policies towards Russia. He also has declared that Slovakia would not surrender any Ukrainian men to the Ukrainian authorities. Well, as a summary of what is happening today in the country, the high officials have reported that the Prime Minister was shot, as we have been reporting, before a cabinet meeting in Handlova, in the west of the country. The alleged attacker, has been arrested, and he's a man in his 71 years of age. The Slovak Prime Minister is currently hospitalized, and according to the website of Fico in Facebook, he's confirming that he has numerous wounds and is in a very grave state. The Interior Minister of the Slovak nation has confirmed also this assassination attempt against the Prime Minister of the country. We have seen numerous reactions from the international community to this incident that has occurred a few hours ago. And like, for example, the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, who affirmed that these kind of actions undermine democracies in Europe and condemned this action. The Secretary General of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg, also was among the first to condemn this action, this attempt against the life of the Prime Minister of Slovakia. Different people have also go to the social medias to condemn what is happening in this moment in the Slovak nation. Like, for example, from Spain, the Prime Minister of Spain, Pedro Sanchez, said to be horrified and outraged at the attack on the Slovak Prime Minister and affirmed Spain's support to Robert Fico, the Prime Minister, his family, and the Slovak people in the face of these extremely difficult times. Many other members of Europe have also come out to express their condemnation of this violence and to express their solidarity to the Prime Minister of Slovakia, like from Portugal, Brussels. Different authorities are coming out. Marine Le Pen in France has also come out to condemn this attack against the Prime Minister's life, and they are attentive to how it develops. The Chancellor of Germany, Olaf Scholz, has also said on his X page, on the media, social media X, to be deeply shocked by the news of the cowardly attack on Slovakian Prime Minister Fico, a violence that, according to him, should not exist in European politics. This is something that is unfolding in the last minutes. We are seeing the images, a small video that has been shared through social medias at the moment that the Prime Minister is being evacuated during the attack that he received previous to a cabinet meeting that was going to be held in the west of the country. The Prime Minister, Robert Fico, has been known for supporting the stop of sending arms to Ukraine and changing the policy of the region of the bloc towards Russia, as he has said that the sanction policies that the European bloc has implemented against Russia have not had the desired result and should not continue, and it should be redirected, as well as describing the Ukrainian regime as non-democratic. So Robert Fico right now is fighting for his life as he's hospitalized, as we have said, in hospital after receiving several shots during previous to a cabinet meeting that he was going to held. And right now these are shocking moments that the country is living, the European country is living, and the international community has expressed their condemnation to these violent acts and to be in shock to this news that has unfolded. So let's recall what we're seeing here on our images on our screen, and these are news that has just happened a few minutes ago, half an hour ago. There were first rumors, and the Slovakian media confirmed that the Prime Minister Robert Fico was wounded in a shooting incident. The Slovak news agency was the first one to confirm it. The agency teleSUR they confirmed that the attack occurred during a parliamentary session, which, according to the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Lubos Blaha, has been postponed, of course, until further notice. We are expecting to probably have more updates from the authorities, from the spokesperson of the Prime Minister, to have more updates on the current state of the Prime Minister, to see how he recovers from these injuries, which, as we have said previously, currently his life is at risk after being shot over 4 times. The shooting took place in front of the local house of Corso, where Fico had gone to meet his supporters. Reports have indicated the Prime Minister, as we have been saying, his life is in danger, so any moment we could be having news on either side. So the international community have come out, many authorities, political authorities and personalities from Europe especially, are expressing their support to the Prime Minister and his quick recovery, and their support to the Slovak people in these difficult, uncertain times that the nation is currently experiencing. Maybe some details of what we should know about the Prime Minister of Slovakia in the recent years. His policies have been to try to stop the transfer of arms to Ukraine, as he has advocated for a change in the European policies towards Russia to try to achieve peace negotiations and bring the special operation, the current conflict between Russia and Ukraine, to a stop and follow a new path, a new direction, as he has said himself that the sanction policies against Russia have not worked and have only been detrimental for the development of Europe instead. And he has also described the Ukrainian regime as non-democratic. We continue having more reaction from personalities across on social media, like for example Alexander Stubb. He said that he condemned the attack on the Slovakian Prime Minister Fico in the strongest terms. Any attack against an elected politician is an attack against democracy, and that his thoughts are with the Prime Minister and his loved ones and the people of Slovakia. We were seeing some news on who the attacker might be. So this is not official information, but according to unofficial information, apparently the alleged shooter, who is currently detained, a man in his 70s, is a writer and supporter of the opposition party Progressive Slovakia, Juras Cintula, born in 1953. I repeat, this is not confirmed information, but it's something that is trending right now in the social medias. So it's something that to take into account. We must remember that, as we reported, what is confirmed is that the police took into custody the man in his 70s, and this might be him, a writer who supports the opposition party Progressive Slovakia. Information that is just coming in is that Robert Fico was taken through an helicopter to the rescue hospital, to the hospital Roosevelt in the city of Banska Bystrica. He was transferred there by helicopter to this hospital, and that's where he currently is being taken care of, being attended by the health specialists that have reported They have reported that his life is currently in danger after being shot several times. Christine Lagarde has also come out on social media to condemn the attack on the Prime Minister Fico. Political violence has absolutely no place in our democracies, that's what she said. Marine Le Pen, as we already said, Marine Le Pen also condemned, expressed their support with the Prime Minister and the people of Slovakia. The Chancellor of Germany has also come out and condemned this cowardly attack on the Slovakian Prime Minister, and all his thoughts are with the family, of course. We want to see some reactions on our screen right now as we are moving on, keeping informed about this incident that occurred recently in Slovakia, the attempt against the life of the Prime Minister Robert Fico. So let's begin our tour on our social media as we see the different reaction from different authorities and political authorities in the area. The Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky, wrote on X the following: "The attack on Slovakia's Prime Minister, Robert Fico, is appalling. We strongly condemn these acts of violence against our neighboring partner state's head of government. Every effort should be made to ensure that violence does not become the norm in any country, form, or sphere. We sincerely hope Robert Fico recovers soon and expresses our solidarity with the people of Slovakia." That's what the Ukrainian president wrote on X after this news came out. Now we're moving on to Viktor Orban, Prime Minister. He wrote on X, "I was deeply shocked by the heinous attack against my friend, Prime Minister Robert Fico. We pray for his health and quick recovery. God bless him and his country." This is the reaction of the Prime Minister Viktor Orban following this news. As joining other European leaders, they have come out to inform of what is going on and condemn and express their support with the Slovakian people. We're seeing on our screen right now the tweet of the Prime Minister of Spain. The Prime Minister of Spain, Pedro Sanchez, wrote, "Horrified and outraged at the attack on the Slovak Prime Minister. Spain stands with Robert Fico, his family, and the Slovak people at this extreme, difficult time. Nothing can ever justify violence." Those were the statements of the Prime Minister of Spain, Pedro Sanchez, on website X, on the social media X. Alexander Stubb also took to X. He said, "I condemn the attack on the Slovakian Prime Minister Fico in the strongest terms. Any attack against an elected politician is an attack against democracy. My thoughts are with Robert Fico, his loved ones, and the people of Slovakia. So we are seeing the reactions, especially from European authorities and personalities, to this news that broke out today, the attempt against the life of the Prime Minister of Slovakia, Robert Fico, who was shot several times and was transferred now to the Roosevelt Hospital to be attended, and the authorities have reported that he's in very dangerous conditions and he's at risk of losing his life. That's why right now the international community is in shock before the news of this that has just occurred several moments later. We continue seeing reactions on X. Case of Kaja Kallas, she said to be deeply shocked by the assassination attempt of Slovakia's Prime Minister Robert Fico. An attack against an elected leader is also an attack against the very idea of democracy. This has been something that most people have said, that this is attack not only against the elected leader, against the Prime Minister, but it's attack against the European democracy and puts it at risk. Kaja Kallas said that he wished the Prime Minister a full and speedy recovery and that her thoughts are with the Prime Minister's families and his loved ones. Kaja Kallas, the Prime Minister of Estonia, reacting on the international community on X, expressing her shock before the assassination attempt against Slovakia's Prime Minister and expressing her support. Let's go again to the heart of the news of what has occurred today. Authorities confirmed this assassination attempt against the Prime Minister of Slovakia. He was shot several times and he was taken to the Roosevelt Hospital to be attended, and the authorities have reported that his life is currently in danger after being shot multiple times. So right now the expectation is waiting for have more information of what is happening on the condition that the Prime Minister is in. So we should have maybe information soon of everything that is occurring right now in Slovakia. Prime Minister Robert Fico was taken by the rescue helicopter to the Roosevelt Hospital in the Banska Bystrica, and the Prime Minister was treasured from the helicopter to the emergency room as rescuers covered the Prime Minister with a sheet. It was not possible to see whether he was conscious or what his injuries were. These are the latest images that we're getting. We're seeing on screen the moment that the Prime Minister arrives in the hospital and is being transferred to the emergency units covered, so it's not possible to see the condition he's currently in or if he's conscious. But the authorities have said that his life is in danger. He's in a very critical situation, so we have to keep attentive to the news as it unfolds and any updates that might come from hospital authorities, as they are currently treating the Prime Minister at the Roosevelt Hospital in the western region of the country. This all happened during a cabinet meeting, and as Robert Fico was greeting his supporters in this region. Let's recall one piece of information that, as we say at the beginning, is not confirmed, but the possible man, it is confirmed that a man is arrested, a 71-year-old man is arrested, but his identity is the one that is not confirmed. And on social media, people are reporting that the alleged aggressor would be Juraj Sintula, a writer and supporter of the opposition party Progressive Slovakia, but this has yet to be confirmed, so we're going to be paying attention to this to see when we have confirmation on the identity of the attacker. Remember, a 71-year-old man, has been detained by the police, but they have not made public the identity of the aggressor. Now, Robert Fico, as we have been reported, the Prime Minister of Slovakia, he was shot several times in the Handlova city, where he was meeting with supporters, and now he's currently at the Roosevelt Hospital in the west, He was born on September 15, 1964. He's a lawyer as a profession and began his political career in the Communist Party before the Velvet Revolution in 1989, which brought the end of the old Czechoslovakia Republic, Czech Republic. In 1999, he created his own party, his center-left party, MRSD, and after rejecting the position in the Democratic left, which was inherited by the Communist parties. Fico has been involved in corruption accusations that he has always denied. As he has said, he's an honest and front man that loves culture, football, and fast cars. He's currently fighting for his life in the Roosevelt Hospital, trying to overcome numerous injuries that he received in this assassination attempt that occurred an hour ago, roughly an hour and a half ago, as he was greeting supporters. Now, Fico has said that he has... The main thing that we can say is that Fico has come out, we could say, against the flow in European policies, because as the European bloc has been trying to fill up in sanctions Russia over the special operation in Ukraine, Fico has advocated for a change in these policies, as they have not borne the result. In any case, they have been detrimental, as the Russian economy has gotten stronger and the European economy is what it is. And that's probably why he might not have... This might be one of the reasons of this attack, for his pro-Russian stand in different subjects, as in the case of lifting sanctions and establishing finally peace negotiations between Russia and Ukraine, and he himself has described the Ukrainian regime as non-democratic. Let's go a quick recap of what's happening, of what we are reporting right now, and it's the attempt of the assassination attempt against the Prime Minister of Slovakia that occurred in the morning hours local times in this European country, as he was greeting supporters after a cabinet meeting, and he's currently in the Roosevelt Hospital in the west of the country, fighting for his life, as authorities have reported that his condition is critical. So we are waiting for any updates from hospital authorities, official authorities, on the condition of the Prime Minister. We recently saw some images of the moment that he was taken from the helicopter into the hospital, and he was covered in a blanket, so we don't know if he was conscious at the moment that he arrived in the hospital. The images that we have on screen are from the moment of the incident. He was quickly taken to the helicopter that later transferred him to the hospital. As the Prime Minister was shot, we can see in the images the gunshots appear to be in the abdomen region, in the belly, as the way he was walking towards he was being taken towards the car. So it's very dangerous areas to be injured. And then at the end of the video, we can see there police arresting a man. So as we have been saying, different authorities from especially from Europe, have come out on X to condemn this attack, this assassination attempt against an elected official in Slovakia, the Prime Minister, like Christine Lagarde, who condemned the attack on the Prime Minister Fico and said that political violence has absolutely no place in European democracies. She expressed her full support with Fico, his family, and the people of Slovakia. The German Chancellor Olaf Scholz also took to X to express his awe at the cowardly attack on the Slovakian Prime Minister Fico, and also said that this type of violence must not exist in European politics, and all his support with the Prime Minister, his family, and the people of Slovakia as well. Marine Le Pen from France also condemned in the strongest possible term, she said, this attack against the Prime Minister of Slovakia, Robert Fico, and to be attentive to all this situation is unfolding, and express her full solidarity with the Prime Minister, the family, and the people of Slovakia. The leader of the Norwegian Labour Party, Jonas Gahr Store, also said to be deeply shocked by the attack on Prime Minister Robert Fico. He strongly condemned the horrible act of violence and expressed his full support with the family, the Prime Minister, and the people of Slovakia. The Prime Minister of Estonia, Kaja Kallas, also took to X and expressed her deep shock by the assassination attempt against the Prime Minister of Robert Fico, and also said that these attacks against elected leaders can exist in European democracies, and fully condemned this heinous act and wished the Prime Minister a full and speedy recovery and all her support to the family of the Prime Minister and the people of Slovakia. The Prime Minister of Portugal, Luis Montenegro, also expressed on X, on behalf of Portugal and himself, I express all my solidarity to my colleague Robert Fico, Prime Minister of Slovakia, wishing his full recovery and the condemnation in the strongest terms of this unacceptable and barbaric act of political violence. That's what the Prime Minister of Portugal said on X after this news came out. Also, the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, also expressed on X that the attack on Slovakia's Prime Minister Robert Fico was appalling, and that they strongly condemn this act of violence against neighboring partner states' head of government, and every effort should be made to ensure that this kind of violence does not become the norm in the countries in the region, and wish the Prime Minister a speedy recovery. Pedro Sanchez, the Prime Minister of Spain, also said to be horrified and outraged at the attack on the Slovak Prime Minister, and said that Spain stands with Robert Fico, his family, and the Slovak people at this extremely difficult time, and that nothing can ever be a justification for violence. The Prime Minister of Hungary, Viktor Orban, also on X said to be deeply shocked by the heinous attack against who he described as his friend, the Prime Minister of Robert Fico, and said to be praying for his health and quick recovery, which all the support to the people of Slovakia from Hungary. The President of the Republic of Finland, Alexander Stubb, also took to X and said to condemn the attack on Slovakian Prime Minister Fico in the strongest term, as any attack on elected politicians is an attack against democracy, also expressing all his support and a speedy recovery to the Prime Minister and to the country and the people of Slovakia. The President of the European Union Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, also affirmed that these kind of actions undermine European democracy, and the Secretary General of NATO also expressed that this cannot occur in Europe and in any nation of the world, this kind of political violence. A brief summary of what we know so far is that the high official, the Prime Minister of Slovakia, Robert Fico, was shot several times, wounded, after a cabinet meeting in Handrova region to the west of the country. An attacker, a man in his 70s, was detained by the police. That's the image that we can see at the end of our video that we're showing, that was shared in social media. There we're seeing how the Prime Minister is taken to the car to be evacuated, and now at the end to the left you're going to see the police officers arresting a man allegedly in his 70s, a writer, supposedly. That's what we know, that in this case of the images that we're seeing there, Robert Fico was taken to a hospital, Roosevelt Hospital in the nation, and that's where he currently is. We previously showed the images how he was taken from the helicopter to the hospital, covered in a blanket, so we could not see if the Prime Minister was conscious at the time of his arrival at the hospital. So we are keeping tabs on what's happening right now to see as soon as any information comes out to be able to report it, as soon as any confirmed information comes out to be able to report on it and provide speedy update on the recovery of the Prime Minister of Slovakia on his condition after being shot several times. Fico has been known for stopping the transfer of arms to Ukraine, wanting to stop the transfer of weapons to Ukraine, for proposing peace negotiations with Russia, and for having said that the Ukrainian regime is not a democracy. So he has had a clear stance in the current conflict in Europe. And he has also affirmed that the sanction policies of the European Union against Russia have been in the end detrimental to Europe, and has advocated for a change of course in this regard and reconstructing relations between the bloc and Russia. This is the latest we're getting from the country, from Slovakia. Appalling news that we're living right now. We're seeing we have more updates. The Russian ambassador condemned the shooting. The Russian ambassador to Slovakia has come out to condemn the shooting. He said, "I strongly condemn this act of violence and express my conviction of the necessity of punishment for the perpetrators." Igor Bachikov, the Russian ambassador to Slovakia, said in a letter to Robert Fico. The Socialists and Democrats group in the European Parliament said to be deeply shocked by the news and wish Robert Fico a speedy, full recovery. We must remember that Europe's socialists supported Fico's Merc party last year We're having all kinds of reaction from different authorities, different personalities, especially from Europe. Local media Actuality reports that Fico has 3 gunshot wounds, 2 on his arms and 1 in his abdomen. Again, take this with a grain of salt. We have no confirmed news of this, but this is what is being said. Has 3 gunshots as he was taken to the hospital, 2 on his arm and 1 in his abdomen. And authorities have said that his life is in danger. Roberta Metsola, the European Parliament President, condemned today's shooting. On X, she wrote, "Shocked by the horrific attack on Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico in Handlova. On behalf of the European Parliament, I condemn this violent act. My thoughts are with him, his family, during this very difficult moment." Slovakia's acting parliament president Peter Šiga said, "I perceive this an attack on the principle of Slovak democracy. Such horrible act has never happened in Slovak history and considered to be the result of whipped-up passions and the division of Slovak society into 2 irreconcilable camps," he added. The acting parliament president Peter Šiga. As we said before, the Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez said to be horrified and outraged at the attack on the Slovak Prime Minister, and said Spain stands with Robert Fico, his family, and the Slovak people at this extremely difficult time. If we go back in history, Slovakia has experienced several incidents of serious violence over the past few years. In 2022, 2 people were killed in a shooting outside an LGBT venue in Bratislava, In 2018, investigative journalist Jan Kuciak and his fiancée Martina Kuznirova were shot dead in their home. We're seeing now we've received recently these images. We're gonna see images of the moment that the suspected aggressor is detained. There we're seeing in the back we're trying to these are more from afar the moment that the person is detained of the alleged attacker that carried out this assassination attempt against the Prime Minister of Slovakia. We see in the back all the police authorities at that moment, how they were trying to get the area under control and take the detainee. We are seeing in there is the police officers have a man on the ground. This is of course not live, this happened a few hours ago. We see a man on the ground detained by police officers, and how all the security of the Prime Minister is there deployed, and all the different security officials have the alleged aggressor detained. Those are the images we're seeing right now on our screens. The moment that the aggressor was detained is there controlled by security officers. And remember that according to unofficial information, this man could possibly be Juras Sintula, a man born in 1953, a 71-year-old man who is a writer and supporter of the opposition party Progressive Slovakia. So those are the images we're seeing right now that we just received. The moment that the aggressor, the one that carried out this assassination attempt against the Prime Minister of Slovakia, Robert Fico, was detained by the authorities and controlled by the authorities to later be transferred to areas. We are getting back to the other images as we see the Prime Minister being taken to his car to be evacuated. He later went on a helicopter to the Roosevelt Hospital, where he's currently being treated for 3 gunshot wounds, one in his abdomen, 2 in his arms. And there in the bottom, the police officers detaining the suspect. Apparently, the man called Juras Sintula, a writer and supporter of the opposition party Progressive Slovakia, born in 1953. Let's go once again over different reactions that have taken place on social medias. The head of the central bank for the euro, Christine Lagarde, she said, "On X, I condemn the attack on Prime Minister Fico, and that political violence has absolutely no place in European democracies. My thoughts are with him, his family, and the people of Slovakia." German Chancellor Olaf Scholz also said on X to be deeply shocked by the news of the cowardly attack on Slovakian Prime Minister Fico, said violence must not be existent in European politics, and that his thoughts are with Robert Fico, his family, and the citizens of Slovakia. The Prime Minister of Spain also condemned the heinous attack against the Prime Minister of Slovakia and expressed Spain's full support for the people of Slovakia, and all his thoughts and prayers are with the Prime Minister and his family. Marine Le Pen from France also took to X and strongly condemned the attack on the Slovak Prime Minister. She said the assassination attempt undermines what they hold most dear, which is democracy, and sent all solidarity from her and her families to the Prime Minister, his Prime Minister family, and the Slovak people. These are the type of messages that are right now on social medias. Political authorities, personalities, especially across Europe, coming up to express their support for the Prime Minister and for his quick recovery. The Prime Minister and leader of the Norwegian Labour Party, Jonas Gahr Store, said to be deeply shocked as well by the attack on Prime Minister of Slovakia. He strongly condemned this horrible act of violence and that his thoughts were the family of Fico and the Slovak people. The Prime Minister of Estonia, Kaja Kallas, also said to be deeply shocked by the assassination attempt of Slovakia's Prime Minister, and that an attack against an elected leader is also an attack against the very idea of democracy, and wish the Prime Minister a speedy recovery. From Portugal, Luis Montenegro, the Prime Minister, also expressed on behalf of Portugal and himself to be in full solidarity with his colleague Robert Fico, the Prime Minister of Slovakia, wishing full recovery, and that they condemn the strongest terms this unacceptable barbaric act of political violence. From Hungary, Viktor Orban also expressed his shock by the heinous attack against who he described as his friend, and prayed for his